chapter 30. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. I think the problem's with you. Obviously, I'm not impotent. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead? Who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? So I guess he kind of blames God. And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. So where have we heard this story before? This is what Sarah did with Hagar. So this is a cultural thing. Evidently in their culture, I can't have a child, have a servant by my handmaid, and we'll call that one mine. So kind of like a surrogate mother. It's like, okay, so we know where Sarah got this. This is the goings on. Obviously, you need to be appealing to God, not coming up with your own. So this is going to create problems. The 12 tribes of Israel, there's really 4 mothers. And you're going to have a lot of envy. Well, I don't care much for you, brother. You don't have the same mother I do. Well, your mother's but a handmaid. You know, you're going to have that kind of stuff going on. All right. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son, and therefore called she his name Dan. Turns out Dan's going to be a big problem, boy. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. So that must be what Naphtali means. But I'll say, you didn't prevail, your handmaid did. I can see the spatterings going on at the table at dinner time each night. Verse 9, When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. Oh yeah? Watch what I can do. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son, and Leah said, A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed, and she called his name Asher. Okay, so Leah has 4, then Rachel's maid has 2, then Leah's maid has 2. So we're up to 8. We got 4 more to go. We're going to see that Leah's going to have some more.
Jacob having a good time for a woman.
Well, I'm not sure I like the barkings going on in my ear with all that's going on. All right, verse 14. Now, catch this. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field. Oh, no, this isn't it. And brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, It is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. So I guess Leah hasn't been getting any attention here, and she's buying it for some flowers, I guess. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrake. And he lay with her that night. Of course, I would have said, I don't care what deal you made while I was gone. You need to talk to me about it. The wives are deciding who he gets to stay with. It's like, what is going on? All right, and God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob the 5th son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the 6th son. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And I'll have to say, it ain't working, Leah. Have you not learned by now? Verse 21, And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. So it's weird. Jacob has 12 sons and 1 daughter. Okay, and Leah has 6 sons and 1 daughter. The 2 handmaids have 2 each. Now it's Rachel's turn. Verse 22, and God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. Verse 25, and it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I may go unto my own place, and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for thy sake. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming, and now when shall I provide for my own house also? And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. And I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle from among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of all such shall be my hire. Now, I'm going to say, as I read this, I don't really understand, but I'm going to say these are probably viewed as not the good pickings. And I think he's made a selection that Laban's going to say yes to, but then Jacob's going to trick him. Okay? So I think this is an easy yes until Laban learns what happens. Verse 33, so shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the he-goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar, and the hazel and chestnut tree, and pilled white strakes in them, and made them white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had pilled before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs, when the flocks came in to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle, ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. Now, I don't know how that worked, but these ones that weren't ring-straked, spotted, and speckled have offspring that are. So it has something to do with what they see. I don't know how it works. I don't know what God did here. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring-straked, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in, so the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger were Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and the maidservants and menservants, and camels and asses. All right, so that's the end of that chapter. And I don't really know what went on there, but Jacob knew some trickery, and he set up a deal. I'll keep these kind, and you keep those kind. And Laban's like, yeah, I like that deal. And then Jacob did some messing around, so that there were a lot of them born that were the kind he was supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
And then Laban's left with the slim pickings.
Did something with some sticks or something.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's one I'd have to look into. All right, that's it.